Preview. Hey guys, what is happening? Welcome to the AA meeting. I'm Allie Burns. I've got Alex Crawford, and we're crashing Cofield's late night happy hour. We do have a special guest with us tonight, Howard Croom. So you're one of Alex's buds, yeah?
I'm one of Alex's buds. I've been tagging along. He's been wherever Alex takes me, I go.
You know, it's funny. Allie, I forgot we were calling this the AA meeting now because Allie and Alex, and I didn't preface that to Howard. So it's like first minute in, he's probably like, okay, wait, am I in the right room? What are we doing here?
Hey man, I'm ready to roll with it.
Yeah,
Alex,
whatever.
This is the second time in a row that you forgot that it's called the AA meeting. It's like our show, dude. Okay.
I know. And you know what? That's probably a sign that maybe I should go to an AA meeting, you know?
Maybe, or like maybe we should call it we make our coffee with bong water or something. Like maybe we need a new name for the show, you know?
I like the AA meeting. I just haven't drank on this in a long time, and I feel bad that I haven't been indulging. But that's also something someone does in an AA meeting, so.
Yeah,
like
there's
not drinking, not drinking.
Yeah. So we do have a pretty good lineup for us today, but I want to get to know Howard. I want to get to know how you guys met. I missed last week. I'm sorry. It was a once in a lifetime kind of jam that I had to roll with. But so what I missed, what's going on in California? Okay, let's start with one thing at a time here. How did you two meet?
Yeah, we'll start with that. Howard, I'll let you take it, actually.
Man, we kind of met through Twitter, right? But yes, it's like, it sounds kind of random, but it's more like we have a mutual kind of good friend, I would say, from college. So we went to the same school, Oregon State. Go Beavs.
Go Beavs.
And nope.
Allie, what?
Where'd Allie go?
Did you go to U of O, or did you just live in Eugene?
No, I went to University of Houston. The Ducks are my college football team. They're the team that got me into college football, basically.
Allie, we're gonna do what we can to not hold that against you. That's a tough one right there.
All right.
And that's something that Howard and I.
Beavers, all right, that's all I'm gonna do. Just keep on licking some beavers.
Hey, do you? That's something Howard and I would. Make fun of Ducks fans for is like, no, I didn't go there. They're just my team. I went to University of Houston, Houston.
I get that. But you know what? You don't get to watch University of Houston on television. And especially way back then, you didn't. I'm drinking too, Jay.
So you picked up the Ducks.
Yeah, I was living in Portland at the time, and Marcus Mariota was their quarterback. And so they were just really exciting and everyone was into it. And I felt like I needed to be a part of it. And so that was just kind of what I got into. So
got you. Well, the Beavers is really what brought me and Alex together was our love for the Beavers and our love for the Clippers. So I'm a diehard Clippers fan. And so is Alex. And we kind of felt like there's probably no other diehard Clippers and Beavers fans in the world. And I'm from Long Beach. Alex was living in downtown Long Beach at the time. So it just all kind of lined up and was perfect.
Yeah. So our mutual friend was like, oh, okay, so you guys live within a mile of each other, diehard Clippers and Beavers fans, and you both went to Oregon State at the same time, have a million mutual friends and somehow never met. So we met for a beer and then we're like, oh, yeah, this is cool. Yeah, we should be friends. And then, just went from there. Made a decision that night to be friends.
And like a year later, I'm on a AA meeting at 10:30 at night trying to figure it all out.
Well, gentlemen, cheers. How about that?
Cheers.
You really did find yourself a niche, though, didn't you? Beavers and Clippers. You just really pigeonholed yourself there. I like the Clippers too, though. We can be friends about that. I'm with you on the Clippers. So
okay, we're good. You got a couple points back with that.
Okay, all right. I'll take it.
Allie, who is your NBA team? While we're kind of getting to know each other as we, just move through episode to episode, because I know you're a huge college basketball head.
Yeah, I am. My NBA team, I grew up a big Rockets fan. That was really my team. I'm from Houston, obviously, but I really was into the Trailblazers. So they're kind of I go back and forth between Trailblazers and Houston, depending on who's doing better, really. Like right now, I don't even want to look at the Rockets. They just kind of all gross me out, and there's just weird stuff going on. But I'm honestly not even into NBA at this point in the season either. So there's that. I got too much going on with college.
That's fair. Someone today was like, man, Clippers look legit. And I too am like, yes, they do. It's February. I just got to stay tempered. I just got to stay tempered.
And nobody's going to give Clippers any credit just because the Clippers are always the Clippers. They're going to collapse. And until the Western Conference Finals, like until the Clippers get past round 2, it doesn't even matter.
Sorry,
for sure.
Yeah. So I like their pick. I like Serge Ibaka. I like some of the pickups they made. I kind of expected some. I just saw the headline before I tuned on. Can the Clippers stop the Red Hot Wizards or something like that? And my immediate thing was no. Like it was just my immediate.
They did.
The Red Hot Wizards. Wow, that's a way to categorize them, huh?
Yeah, there's that.
And that's why I can't. Never mind. I was gonna say that's why I can't get like too. I'm always 1 foot in, 1 foot out when we're going in on NBA talk in February, because it's like, can the Clippers stop the Red Hot Wizards? Yeah, they did, but it doesn't mean anything. Or if the Wizards were actually red hot and they won, it also doesn't necessarily mean anything for the postseason. And like Howard said, we as Clippers fans especially know that.
Right. Well, there's that. So speaking of sports in your area, I hear some big things happen. I hear that high school sports have been okayed. What's up with that?
So today,
I didn't mean that in a bad way. Like, what's up with that? I just mean, what's up with that? Casually,
Are you sure, Allie? Because I remember one time you were like, we should not be bringing them back, and I'm not going to let my son play.
Yeah,
football,
absolutely.
It's dangerous. And I'm just kidding. You didn't say that, but
well, yeah. Well, he doesn't.
I'm putting words in your mouth now. Okay.
No, I was definitely on that side. That granted, this is more, like in the midst of stuff before things started slowing down. So the thing in Las Vegas right now is that we're under 10% of people getting tested have coronavirus. So levels have dropped a whole lot. Everything seems a lot, more sane. I don't want to say safer, but more sane. Like we've got ideas and how to fix these things. So I'm less opposed to it. That was my thing, was the timing of it all. Let's just wait for timing. Timing's here. What do we got going on?
So in California, the metric, I'm trying to pull it up exactly. And this is actually my one of my complaints with state government during COVID is the metric often changes of what we're using to measure how severe COVID is. But the current metric is, I believe, case rates per 100,000 people. And if your county, on Friday, Gavin Newsom said, our governor, if your county goes below 7 per 100,000, you can have, I'm sorry. Was it 14? It's 14. 14 per 100,000. 14 per 100,000, you can have sports back with weekly testing. If they go below 7, you can have sports back with no testing. But today, a bunch of counties, including LA County and Orange County, both went below 14. So that's the green
LA
light.
Went below 14?
LA went below 2. Yeah, LA went,
which I was that?
I didn't see it
till, goodness, that's huge news.
I'm shocked. So LA went below, but Riverside, San Bernardino, and a few other, and San Diego didn't. So they have to wait, and they do it once a week. It's like a once a week metric. And so it's every Tuesday. Like, again, arbitrary stuff. Just every Tuesday, they come out with the number, and then so as of right now, there could be high school sports as early as next week in California, which is big because, Howard and I call football games, and then I call like every other sport for a high school in Orange County, my alma mater, Newport Harbor High School. Go Sailors. But yeah, so that's big news for us and big news for the state. I mean, I've been on my soapbox saying this is the biggest sports issue facing America right now. And so it's big news.
Well, it's crazy to see how much the numbers have dropped because we just spoke to Steve Fryer from the Orange County Register, the reporter, and he was telling us that was on Sunday, and he was saying in Orange County it was like 20 per 100,000, and then now it's 11.9 per 100,000. So that dropped pretty quickly. And the reason why I bring that up is because I wonder what that means for the NBA Finals, if it's the Lakers or the Clippers or the Western Conference Finals, or when football comes back for the Rams and the Chargers, like
Dodgers baseball,
Dodgers baseball. Are we going to see people at opening day? Like the way that these rates are going is possible.
Yeah. Well, and just one more thing, if anybody really I'm excited in terms of high school sports because the way that the case rates are dropping with this metric means that they could this is like a bad thing, I guess, to be excited about. They might not have to test the kids in another week or 2 weeks, which then means that there really could be no cancellations of games based on those rules, which is interesting.
That would be awesome.
Hey, by the way, just to jump in, we started talking about this on the local radio show. If Newsom doesn't allow fans, anytime soon into games, imagine May in the NBA playoffs if the Lakers don't have the number 1 seed and say they're in a series 1-2 for the Western Conference title, and it's Utah. Utah's already got 4,000 fans in their building. My guess is Utah's real light on COVID. They got a lot of COVID hoaxers. So you could have the Lakers playing in front of no one at Staples and 10,000 fans on the road. Uh-oh.
That is interesting.
That's an actual home court advantage right there.
Yeah.
Just like fans. Yeah, that is crazy. I hadn't thought of that. And I could totally see that. I mean, even right now, they're saying with the high school sports, of course, there's pushback. They're saying immediate family only. And then parents are pissed about that already. They're like, no, we should have faculty. We should have this and that. Howard and I have a vested interest because I'm like, oh, no, you got to watch our broadcast. You got to watch our live stream. You can't come to the game. You got to tune in. But yeah. So that's big news for us, Allie. That's big news for us here in California.
That's huge. No, well, excellent. It was a long road. I'm glad that we've arrived here. I feel solid about it. I feel a lot better than I did about it months ago. And I just hope it all, continues in a positive way. So that's excellent. I'm glad. So you were talking about covering obscure sports, and I know a lot about sports, and I know a lot about a lot of different kinds of sports, but I don't think I could call sports that there were like how am I trying to ask this? Okay, so like with lacrosse, you've got left wings and right wings, and then with field hockey, I know zero about field hockey.
Dude, I don't
water
know
polo. So yeah, how do you prepare for things like this? I handicap things for a living. I got to know certain things about certain things before I can do my job. How do you handicap this? How do you prepare?
Find a good color commentator who's down to be a teacher, kind of. But for real, today I met with the principal at the high school where I call the games, and he was like, be ready to call at least one field hockey game next week. And I was like, oh, we're doing field hockey now. Okay, great. I really actually know nothing about field hockey, like nothing at all. And I also don't know anyone that's really like a field hockey person. So what I'm doing right now is going through my old high school yearbook, finding out which girls played field hockey that I still know, and seeing which ones live around here, and seeing who I could get to maybe trying to make an assessment of who would be good to do the broadcast with me, or would at least be down with a phone call ahead of time to chat. And then I guess I'll Google some field hockey games and watch some of them. I guess that's the strategy. But I'm like, oh shit, I've got lacrosse, field hockey, water polo, soccer, I've never called, but I mean soccer I get. But yeah, so that should be fun.
Yeah, that's it. That's quite the challenge too. But I mean, you're definitely going to come out ahead after, I have faith in you, Alex. I have faith in you. Nothing a little Wikipedia can't solve.
No, yeah, Wikipedia and hit
YouTube.
up some. Yeah, YouTube.
Yeah, a little YouTube. Just watch some tape. You'll be all right. I mean, I did the same thing when I applied to get the job doing statistics for the Las Vegas Aviators. I don't know if you know, Howard, but they're our minor league baseball team here in Las Vegas. I had to take this really in-depth test on baseball, and I had already umpired. So and I watched baseball for years. So I'm like, I got this test. I'm like on page 2 of this test, and I'm losing my freaking mind. I mean, it's so in-depth with baseball. And so I kind of cheated on it. I have a friend, Scott Yaras, from high school who played baseball at Creighton, and in 94 taught me everything I needed to know about baseball to get in where I fit in at Green Valley High School. And so I found him on Facebook. I hit him up and I was like, Scott, what do these mean? And he crashed. So he didn't just give me the answers. He explained it all to me. But I mean, that's the way to do it, right? Call someone get them to break it down, figure it out, make it work.
Got to be resourceful, man. What would our grandparents have done without Facebook and YouTube and Wikipedia? They just figured it out, I guess.
Yeah, man.
Build different.
They do. Yeah,
they don't make them like they used to.
I feel like my 5th grader has given up on spelling. He's like, why do I need this? Yeah, he's like, why do I need this? So I'm like, there are so many reasons why. He's like, but there's autocorrect. I'm like, but what about when you use a pencil?
I actually think about that all the time, Howard, because you and I have been talking about your uncle who fixes cars, and he's like a guru mechanic, like has been tapped into for like Hollywood, right? Like your uncle's
Absolutely.
like a mastermind, right? Like a mechanical mastermind.
For
and he's
sure.
He's coming to look at my car. But I was thinking like these skills, these trades, these things that are passed down or that people used to have to figure out are truly being lost. Like it actually worries me about our society. It really does.
Yeah,
absolutely, 100%.
I know a lot of schools stop teaching kids how to write in cursive because that was like something that my kid's still learning that, but I know a lot of other schools aren't. So yeah, times they are changing. So let's move into some professionals. Wait. Go ahead.
Oh, I wanted to ask a question based on the like obscure sports or just me today facing the reality of, okay, I got to learn some field hockey. And this is for both of you a question. Allie, I know that you've done stats and handicapping. And then Howard, I know that you work in, sort of in the athletics field. But what obscure sport have you had to either cover or dive into or learn about that you've then like fallen in love with or that you've then appreciated a lot more?
Howard, you go first.
Yeah, Alex, I've talked to you about mine. I mean, I have a couple that I've absolutely fallen in love with. I think lacrosse was the hardest for me to understand. Lacrosse was just totally foreign to me. Living on the West Coast, we never had lacrosse. It's kind of recent, It's been a Western migration of the sport, and so watching lacrosse at USC. But lacrosse and beach volleyball as well. Beach volleyball is like a high impact, like action sport. Every point is like super exciting. And I would have never known that it was so exciting had I not really got into it. So lacrosse and beach volleyball.
Oh, but Howard, tell our listeners and viewers too, like what you do, like why you're watching a lot of beach volleyball or why you're like exposed to it on the reg.
Yeah, so I work with student athletes. So I'm an academic advisor. I work in the athletic department. I teach a class to student athletes as well, a freshman transition course. But in my job, I work with I've worked with the beach volleyball team, or I've worked with the women's tennis team or lacrosse team, and just when you know people who are playing, it incentivizes you to watch. So now I'm like, okay, I work with these people. Let me go check out their sport. And you realize like, oh my goodness, these, nice, sweet beach volleyball girls, you would have never thought they're just absolute monsters on the court, So it's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, mine would be, I have a couple, and I kind of feel like a dick for saying this, but I did stats for UNLV basketball, and then I got put in charge of the women's stat crew, and I like really didn't want to move to women's basketball, even though it was kind of a promotion. It felt like a demotion. But man, I'm into women's basketball. Like I didn't expect that I would like it so much. I get it's all fundamentals and all that. Like I knew that going into it, but I wanted the excitement and the dunks and all that. But that catty girl shit comes out on the court and it is good business. And I really enjoy some women's basketball. So that would probably be mine.
That was me with girls water polo at the high school level calling games last year. I was just like, man, I don't know anything about water polo. And I heard that men's is like better to watch, but I freaking love the girls water polo. Like I might be calling a girls water polo game on Monday. I'm legit juiced about that. Like talk to my color commentator, which for that, what I did? Found my friend that played water polo at SC, won national titles. I was like, I need you to teach me everything. And so I don't have to do any of the actual analysis. That's where he comes in. But I'm juiced for girls water polo. Like I'm pumped on it. I love it. So I feel you on the beach volleyball and the girls hoops, women's hoops. I'm with it.
Just a side note, I might not use the word juiced when I'm talking about how excited I am for women's sports. Just an observation. Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't
just
say
an
like
observation.
Yeah, okay. I think I said on our radio show on Sunday, I said that it gets my juices flowing to have high school sports back. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe we'll strike that one. Maybe we'll strike that one.
Yeah. Can't wait to see all those kids out on the field.
We'll leave all the juices flowing away from the high school kids, volleyball or water polo and all that.
Oh,
yes. Yeah. We'll keep that. Just keep that in the AA meeting for sure.
Okay, so I did have some other talk for the night. I mean, the big thing, if we want to stick in sports, so viewers in the chat, I've got food stuff for us. I found another TikTok hack that I'm sure we can all, I think they already talked about it, Pro Martini Maker, something about a Price is Right rule. So Howard, this is an over-under on where I'm going to go pee, when I'm going to go pee, because it happens every night. They put the time in the chat. This is just part of the show. So anyway, so we do have a new Mexican food, a tortilla life hack that I saw on TikTok that we can maybe talk about in the future here. I found some drinking trends for 2021 I wanted to run by you guys, but I kind of thought we should maybe talk about Tiger Woods since we all work in sports and it was kind of the main headline of the day. Or are we all over Tiger Woods because it was the major headline all day?
I'm down to talk about Tiger.
All right, let's talk about Tiger. So what do you think?
Get well soon. I don't know. I don't have a big thing other than like I'm glad it's just his legs and get well soon. Tiger Woods. I don't have a ton on it, but I'm down to talk.
Well, that was let's skip it. If that's what you had there, if that was what you were packing, it was let's skip it.
What do you guys got?
What do you got, Cofield? You're coming in. You're on mute though, Cofield.
You're muted. How about at some point today where you're like, he's going to die and this sucks again in the pandemic? Maybe I'm morbid, but I know getting ready to do a radio show when this thing was developing from like 9 a.m. all the way up until our show, right around 2 o'clock, I'm like, Jesus Christ, what a disaster. Can you imagine 14 months removed from Tiger? We have another icon of our era, pass away senselessly. And now that we know some of the details, we don't know all of them, but I don't know did I go right to freaking 1,000 miles an hour on him while no one else did? Because I was worried. I'm like, man, he better not be paralyzed. If he freaking dies, this is ridiculous.
I kind of took a different route with it that I don't know if I even want to go down this route.
Oh, God.
Yeah. I don't even know
what route was it?
I mean, it's just now. Like, I get it. But like, in Vegas, every morning I wake up at 6:30 to see like some car that hit another car and those cars have exploded and someone died. And I don't know. There was just like the amount. I think what bothered me about it was the amount of coverage on CNN that it was getting. Like it was all CNN all day long. And, I don't know.
So Allie, you're like on the, I'm over the celebrity worship. What about the old granny's car accident? Where's the chopper for her? Where's the news coverage for the average Joe? Where's the average Joe news coverage? Okay.
And it's not even that. It's just, maybe I don't know. It was too much. It was overkill. That's what I feel like. Like it was overkill. It's one thing if Kobe dies, but like Tiger broke his legs in a car crash that he started, that he did, like.
Okay, we didn't know during the day like what was going on. Now we know now we know you knew that he was only going to break his leg. Like for a while, I'm like, I think he's going to be paralyzed. I'm like, this fucking sucks. This is awful. I'm like, I don't even want to have to think about this in the pandemic. And the other thing is like, I don't think we know what happened with the accident. I mean, it's 100% a single car. They have video if I was driving out there, I could have run him off the road. Who knows? Someone could have run him off the road. I don't know what happened yet.
I feel like he was faded. Yeah, what do you think, Howard?
Yeah, I mean, for me, honestly, it kind of made me check myself in terms of in terms of being kind of like ethnocentric, like putting myself in the center of the world, because I realized it made me think about Kobe and how much Kobe affected me. And it was such a big deal. And I couldn't have imagined somebody not being moved almost to tears by Kobe. Like I couldn't have imagined it. And Tiger, as an athlete, to me, and I appreciate greatness so much, I really do. He means less than nothing almost as an athlete, because I don't care about golf. Like I care about golf the same amount that I care about darts, like competitive dart throwing. But that's just me personally. And I don't want to offend, but I just mean, it made me check myself to say like, wow, I see how much people are affected. And like, that's how maybe I was with Kobe. Like you said, Cofield, you didn't know if he was going to survive. And I saw people being affected. I'm like, dang, okay. So maybe next time I'm tripping about something, I need to realize it's not on the center of everybody's mind, because Tiger doesn't really impact me like that. I hope he's okay, but I don't have any personal memories of Tiger in my life at all. So it didn't really stick with me, but
Yeah.
I saw how big he was to everybody else, and I was like, okay, I need to, I see how big he is.
So that's pretty interesting. Howard, how old are you?
I'm 32.
Okay. And Alex, where are you now?
I'm 30. And actually, I mean, I think that's Howard, I feel like you kind of summed up some of my thoughts in the sense of where I also don't care about golf. Like I just don't follow the sport. I really don't follow the sport like I do with other sports. And I had friends texting like in a group chat, like, oh my God, like, don't make like someone made a joke and he was just like, don't fucking make a joke. Like friends really torn up. And I was just like, huh?
Right.
Huh? Like it like was a blip on my radar today, even though I was like, oh shit. Cause I was like, oh shit, what if Tiger dies? But it didn't move me where like, and Howard, I've said like, oh, I'm a Kobe hater, blah, blah, blah. But when I saw that Kobe news, like pit in my stomach, like, oh fuck, the world's about to be different for a second. Tiger wasn't the same for me.
Yeah, I agree. And maybe that's what it is that it just like, first of all, I think he caused it. I think he was probably like in the chat. I think he was probably high. If you see him in the interview on Sunday, he looked like bloodshot eye. He looked like he was a little faded.
We're just going there. We're just going there.
I mean, right? I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry because this is my perspective of it. Was like, felt like he was a little faded. You crashed your car. That was your fault. And I don't know. It didn't have the same effect on me. And what I really took away from it was what the media was not saying. They're like, oh, no, we don't think there were drugs involved. No. When we pulled him over, he had his seatbelt on it. I mean,
that wasn't the media.
Well,
that wasn't the media.
The sheriff said that.
They didn't just make that up. They were getting it from the police. So you're right. The police may have been protecting him, but
so don't bring the media into it. All right, I get you, but you know what I'm saying is that like I don't necessarily believe we were getting the right story.
I mean, that was the other story because the other story today was the fact that the media started wagging the finger at the rest of the media. Media members were like, "Don't rush to get the news out," and I was like, "What? Can we just let the story develop? Let's see what happens with Tiger Woods before we all start chastising each other." Because, again, that goes back to – that's why, for me, Tiger and this accident took me back to Kobe because basically people were going back to Kobe and thinking all of the stuff that got leaked on Kobe, including the scumbags with the LA Sheriff's Department, taking pictures and fucking leaking them. And then we found out, a month later or 2 months later that at least a couple of the cops on the Sheriff's Department were like had pictures of Kobe and they were like showing at a bar. Like, hey, chick, I want to get laid. I'm going to impress you. Here's some mutilated.
Yeah, that happened. That really happened.
It did happen. So I think a lot of people went back to that. So that's why I think it's interesting what everyone felt. And it's weird. So you guys are 32 and 30, Allie's slightly older, but not even close to me. I guess, would you say Tiger?
I'm 40. It's okay. I don't mind how old I am.
So is Tiger closer to my era? Like, he is younger than me, but I remember Tiger coming up when I was in my mid-20s, and Tiger was such a big star. And here's the other thing. I think a lot of us, a lot of people in the chat room, we discussed this a little bit. A lot of us just watched the Tiger documentary on HBO. So stuff that you had forgotten about his rise and fall, that was all put back in there and kind of the awful way some people treated him. So I don't know. I thought it was an interesting day, but I'm glad to get the perspective of everyone.
But yeah, I don't want to say Tiger wasn't from my era because, like, Tiger's been a part of like my life throughout the years. I followed Tiger. I know his business. It's like what Howard said. I'm just not that into golf, So, I mean, I think that he was major for the sport. Obviously, groundbreaking. A whole lot of stuff went on because of Tiger that wouldn't have happened without him. And like, much respect, great golfer, but yeah, as far as like that physical or that emotional connection to him, I'm just lacking that. And also, it wasn't like he was in an accidental helicopter accident with his daughter where like some other guy crashed them. Like, dude, you're driving your car. you're just driving your car. So
dang, Allie, no sympathy. Cold heart with that one, huh? I see.
No
you.
sympathy.
What am I supposed to feel bad for? Because you got in a car accident and you could afford a driver? Like, I don't know what to say, I've been in 2 car accidents. No one really gave too many shits about it. So, I mean, I don't know. Again, it's so hot in my house and now I'm all sweaty again. You guys got me riled up.
That's because Tiger got you fired up crashing his car.
Yeah, you're just like no sympathy for the and if we're gonna go down that road, I I was curious about why he's driving himself, just because it's Tiger Woods. I'm just like, I just assume you have like a chauffeur everywhere in Southern California. And two, he was driving the Genesis Open Invitational courtesy car, not courtesy car, but he was driving one. And I was like, that was what stood out to me. That's the first thing I thought of, was like, why is he driving that car by himself?
Would you want him to be in a Rolls Royce with a chauffeur?
Well, no, but a caddy. He could have had a caddy behind the wheel or something. You know,
I just assumed, man. I didn't understand Tiger Woods was blue collar like that, just driving the courtesy car.
Would we still all feel bad for Tyler if he smashed into somebody else, like a car, like a minivan with kids in it? Would we still be so sad for Tyler, right? Or Tiger, if he smashed into someone else? You know.
I mean, call me naive here, but like, you know, he might have hit a pothole. You know, I don't know. I'm gonna feel bad if anytime somebody's hurt. I'm gonna just say that I'm gonna feel bad. But what I did more than anything, when I said he meant like less than nothing, I just mean golf means nothing to me. I do respect and appreciate what he's done. I wish I would have watched his run, all that. I'm just not a golf guy, but when I saw the car, I can't believe he survived that. You know, like. Do that accident 10 times over, and I don't know that he survives a lot of times. I mean, that was really crazy. Just the way that the car looks smashed up, you know.
Yeah, I need
more information before this conversation continues, because I think it's his fault, and that's why I lack sympathy. But if I find out that like it's something else's fault, then maybe I'll feel better about it, but still probably not.
Well, we're gonna circle back when we get some more
he's
information
gonna yell
on
at
Tiger.
me. Dad's back.
No, I'm not going to yell at you. Does Tiger's transgressions, you know, being a freaking habitual, out of control womanizer, does that affect your opinion of him, and sympathy is hard to come by initially?
No, not at all. No, not at all. His bad driving does. His record of previous bad driving does. Yeah, I will feel like a dick when he swerves to miss a kid.
You know what?
There's no kids on that road.
The other thing, while we're on this subject, like the other thing that stood out to me today from the Tiger coverage was that guy from Barstool Sports who immediately went on Twitter and said it was a hoax, and then went on a whole rant defending that. So basically said that Tiger Woods was hoaxing it, and then he had a follow-up tweet saying that the LA Sheriffs were in on the hoax, which, like, that to me stood out as just like, what a fucking idiot. I hate people. I hate the whole like Barstool crop of media. And so that stood out to me because I saw people dunking on that guy on Twitter and clowning on that guy. And that was another little tidbit that stood out to me. But Al, you think it could be a hoax? So,
no, I don't think it's a hoax.
Oh, okay.
I didn't get the hoax thing. No, I think he crashed his car. I didn't say anything was a hoax.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, what would the hoax even be?
Oh, that he's like Rick Fox was a hoax. Like he's not actually dead?
I don't even know.
Maybe it was like a Beatles Paul is dead situation, and now there's like just a stand-in for Tiger, or like Tiger wanted out, you know? So that was, you know what I'm saying? Maybe it's that.
That's the danger of trying to be viral and trying to go viral and just, you know, be the first person on top of it, and you end up looking like an idiot.
Hoax. It's like, what? What, dude?
Hoax. Yeah, it was good what that one officer said about that car being a model. What was it? A marvel of modern engineering, though, that, you know, safe cars do make a big, giant difference. So
see, now if we're talking hoax, I'm like, well, it was a Genesis. Genesis is the big sponsor of the Tiger Woods Invitational, and Genesis came out looking pretty good today. So if you want to go down that rabbit hole, there's some fodder for you. Have fun.
I don't. It's because that's a golf rabbit hole.
I guarantee you in their boardrooms they did. Like, oh, you see that car did 3 somersaults and Tiger lived. That's the best safety commercial we could ever have.
I legit thought that when I saw the crash. I legit thought, wow, damn. Genesis are good cars. And I've been to the Tiger Woods Genesis Invitational because it's in LA. I went 2 years ago or 3. I went in 2018, and they had Genesis cars on display, and I was like, wow, this is a luxury car, but it's still pretty affordable. It's the Hyundai luxury model. It's like the Lexus of Hyundai, and I was actually pretty impressed by the Genesis. So Genesis, if you're listening, Let's go.
The Lexus of Hyundai is like the champagne of beers. Like that's just like Republican Party. Like it's
I'm
just
a big
an
fan.
oxymoron.
I'm a big fan of Miller High Life. Speaking of the champagne of beers,
Hey, I'm
Yes,
a Beastie Boys girl. I have no problem with some 99-cent 32-ounce freaking High Lifes. Okay,
absolutely.
but let's not get shit twisted too. Okay, that's a crap beer. That's a crap ass beer. As I drink my Bud Light.
Yeah. Oh, the tall boy too. The tall boy. That's such like a football coach beer to me. Or stat girl.
I drink them slower. Yeah, I drink them slower. No, Jay Lawrence, not the first time we didn't. Okay, so let's move on. We're talking about beer. Let's talk about some alcohol trends that I noticed, and I want to know how we feel about them. Before that, I'm going to have to pull them up real quick. I kind of cared about some, and I didn't really care about some others. So like number one, so these are alcohol trends in 2021, obviously because of COVID, what's going in, what's going out, not just COVID, but also like all the movements that have kind of come through the 2020 year and where we're ending up. So number one on the list was bye-bye communal cocktails. All right. So communal cocktails are going to refer to like our fishbowl drinks, right? Where everyone is drinking out of the same cup kind of a situation. And my first question about this was like, when was the last time I drank a fishbowl drink? Because I graduated college a long time ago. You guys are a little closer to that era. Are like fishbowl drinks still a thing? Could we live without these? I feel like I have.
Go ahead, Howard.
Well, man, it's been a long time since I've been in that environment. I mean, so I don't know if they're still a thing. For me, when I was in college, it was absolutely. There was this song by Tech Nine, and maybe somebody in the chat would know it. Alex, you probably know it. The Jungle Juice song. It was like
so now I just don't know Tech Nine.
Yeah.
Now I just don't know Tech Nine.
You know what, Alex? Do you know the Jungle Juice? What's the mixture? Break it down for me. That's what I really need. I feel like you might know.
One, I don't know Tech Nine, and two, no, I don't drink Jungle Juice, but I just don't like how you would racially profile me, or maybe that was sexist of you that I don't know Tech Nine.
See, look where you went. You went to race and sex, and I wasn't gonna throw it out there, but it was a song when I was in college, so I figured you might have been at a more classy establishment because you were beyond college at that point.
Yeah, you were working at like a nice bar in Portland,
right?
I think, weren't you?
Come on, Allie.
Weren't you?
It wasn't a nice bar. I know who Tech Nine is, but I don't know the Jungle Juice song. And I drank Jungle Juice in college, but it was like the garbage can punch, is what we called it.
I think exactly same thing.
The same thing. Yeah, we called it garbage.
We had a variety. We had a variety. I was the social chairman of a fraternity at Oregon State, which I'm like borderline even wanting to admit in this day and age, but my job was to make the trash can punch on various occasions. And one was Jungle Juice, one was called Purple Jesus, and one was Pink Panty Droppers, but like made in bulk quantities. Those were the main three. And all three were effective. Also, we had Everclear, the grain alcohol, which you can't get. I don't think it's legal in California. And in some states, I don't think it is. But in Oregon, I know we had it and we would use it. And it was very dangerous, and it shouldn't be used.
Allie, would you guys have fruit in yours?
Yes, we would. But this is two different things, though, because what's coming up later is batch liquor. Like that's a number three.
Is that not what I'm thinking about?
What's batch liquor?
So batch liquor is when we're making a big ass thing of garbage can punch where we can all scoop out of it. Communal drinks are when our faces are touching. Like when we all got a straw. Like, that's a communal drink.
I'd like to just weigh in on this a little bit because I know there's another one coming on this list related to tiki drinks. I'm a big tiki guy. I'm a big tiki drink guy. I don't like that they're saying tiki drinks are on the out and out. I'll weigh in on that later. But the last time that I did have the freaky tiki, you have the scorpion bowl, you have the thing on fire. Like that is part of the tiki drink culture. So I think I went to a tiki bar in Sacramento in 2019. And that was the last time I had a communal drink of that nature.
But the thing about the tiki bar is not the communal drinks. It's about the the tiki's problematic history and misuse of indigenous iconography. Like that's the tiki issue.
Yes,
so,
that's I know, and I'm gonna have to figure out a way to defend tiki against that when we get to that one. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Okay. What have I done? Tech 9.
Yeah, that's the song.
All right.
Malibu, Caribou, get them all now. Make baby girl come out of a shell and raise hell.
Malibu, 151, pineapple juice.
Pineapple juice and Malibu, Caribou, get them all now.
Taking me back to a sweaty basement.
And there will be fruit. It will be in like a big cooler, like you would take to the beach or whatever, you know, and it would be a bunch of juice, a bunch of alcohol, a bunch of fruit, and you would scoop it out. People weren't washing their hands at that time. It was just
Yeah, that was grog for us. Like Jungle Juice didn't have fruit, but grog had fruit. And that was like our pirate shit which was just every kind of rum and juice you could find pretty much. Yum. But then did you guys like eating the fruit the next day would get you so much more fucked up than drinking the booze the night before? Like that fruit the next day was so soaked and potent, man.
Absolutely. That was always a part of it.
John Carvelli in the chat talking about the luge slide, like the shot luge.
Yes.
That is definitely got to be on the out and out post COVID because you are all putting your mouth on the same piece of ice. And I always thought that was kind of nasty, to be honest. But now I really think about it, and you're all just licking the same piece of ice. I think that's got to be, you know.
So what would like the body shot rule be? Like one person could do a shot out of my belly button, but that's all. Like there's like one per belly button, you know, like you can't share belly buttons because then it's mouth to mouth and stuff like that. I feel like
if you're doing body shots, you're kind of already playing with fire, you know?
Well, I mean, we're not mouth to mouth, you know?
What about shotgunning weed hits? I mean, are people still doing that in the COVID era? Are people ever doing that?
God, I remember doing those with gas masks and those. So, I've gone too far.
I can't wait to break into all the
college. Okay,
I can't wait to break into all the University of Houston stories, Allie.
I just told one we were talking on my morning show that I do, Morning Wood. We were talking about Rice University.
Morning Wood in the AA meeting. That's great.
Yeah,
that's great.
Well, that ain't broke. Yeah, but I was talking about our RA at University of Houston. We were all smoking pot in the room. And remember, you would take like a Gatorade bottle and you pop holes in the bottom of it and stuff it with dryer sheets so you could exhale. He would like came knocking on the door and he's like, "What are you guys cooking rice in there?" And we were like, "Yes, we are." And then forever, that was like the code word. Like, you guys want to go cook some rice? Dude, I could use some rice right now. So like, that was always the code word, was cooking rice.
That's awesome.
I wonder if kids are still having to learn how to make those things.
I can't understand
another
like the
skill,
dab
another
culture.
skill lost.
They got vape pens now. They don't have to do it.
I know.
2021.
They don't have to do that. They don't have to make gravity bongs out of Gatorade bottles and blow, blow smoke through the tube.
Somebody in the chat did say Laramie Tunzel. Truth from Duluth.
Shout out.
We love Truth from Duluth. That's true. Alcohol would disinfect your belly button.
You know, confession.
The tube.
I've never done a body shot or had one done off me. I guess that's a little less surprising, but I don't think I've ever done a body shot.
If this is never have I ever, I'm going to have to drink.
We just said we're not going to break into
the game.
We're not going to break into the University of Houston stories just yet. You're good.
They were dollar store dryer sheets. Oh, dollar store air freshener, but that's a good idea. I'm just thinking of like the chemical, because you always like taste it in your mouth afterwards. I don't understand the dabbing thing. Like for me, dabs are such a boy thing. Like it's like this fire and then this like sticky shit that gets everywhere that you're never going to clean up. And then, I mean, there's like glass. It's this weird man, like welding science. That is such a boy thing for me. Like dabbing. Like, do you want to dab? No. Do I want to burn my already frail hair off or nope, I don't. Thanks.
It's not welding equipment. It's a creme brulee torch.
Oh, there you go.
It's a little classier.
You know what I mean? You're like,
Allie's old school. Allie's what?
thing,
Let me just. You roll joints, Allie?
Yeah, I roll doobs, Alex.
Okay,
Doobs.
sick. That's dope.
Yeah.
I can tell, and I respect the shit out of that. I really do.
Yeah,
I
roll
really
doobs.
do.
I
'Cause
rarely.
I don't even think kids know how to roll joints anymore, man. I don't even know if kids know how to roll doobs anymore.
My mom taught me that shit.
Or fix
That's why I
cars.
call them doobs. Because my mom taught me that.
I think the kids are figuring that one out.
Yeah,
They're figuring something out. They're figuring something out. They figured a more efficient way.
The bouncer. Oh, I like that. They used to call it the bouncer when you use bounce fabric softeners. I like that. The bouncer. Yeah, CO2's for making whipped cream. Don't forget about that.
Wait, so what's next on the alcohol trends?
Okay,
Allie?
so up next, thank you for getting me back on track.
No,
here,
it's all good.
I could talk about pot all day. Okay, so up
Well, this
next
is the
was,
AA meeting, so you know,
Yeah.
that's the alcohol.
we've got to go the other way. So number one was bye communal drinks, and number two was hello batch drinks, which we've kind of already covered.
Okay.
So I didn't even really know batch drinks were a thing, but apparently it's a big deal to like sell them nowadays. So got it. Number three is really my main one here. And I know that you guys will be able to respect this because we all have this live in Oregon connection, but it's bye to craft beers. And I'm just going to read this real quick, but it says in March 2020, America's craft distillers stepped up to supply the nation's healthcare workers, first responders, and everyday citizens with hand sanitizer. It was a vital act, followed by a press bonanza, followed by precipitous crash in sales. Even after pivoting to making up for tasting room closures and flagging on-premises business, an estimated 41% or $700 million of craft distillery sales have dried up. I am so sad about this. Like, what do we do? Can I start a GoFundMe? Like, I don't think that's the answer, but like, this makes me so sad. How do you guys, what's your initial take on this?
I'm always going to go for the craft liquor or beer when I can. And I think what we got to do is just, if that's something we like, you know, instead of buying Jack Daniels, you know, go buy your local whiskey. I mean, there's options out there. I just think you gotta vote with your dollar. You know, you gotta go out and just buy the stuff. Also, I mean, and yeah, it's not a hard ask. If you're gonna go drink local. That's my 2 cents. You know, that's my strategy here.
I get that, but I'm not like giving up my Bud Light, but I would like to know that I still have options for my craft beers. You know, when I'm just thinking of like Rogue, you know, like I used to go to Rogue for lunch all the time when I lived in Portland. It was right by my school, and they've got like 25 different kinds of beers at any time at the Rogue Brewery. Does that now like just reduce into their 5 top sales? And so now we're getting less varieties of craft beers than we otherwise would. Our whole companies going out of business because of this. I don't know. Howard, what do you think? Am I overreacting? I could be. Maybe it is simple.
I don't think you're overreacting. I mean, I just think these are some of the irreversible changes that we're going to see with COVID. You know, companies that, you know, there might have been a burger stand on a corner that it was there in 2020. It's not going to be there in 2022, you know, and unfortunately, like you said, that 20 beer selection might hopefully, you know, go down to 8 instead of 5, but that's still tremendous. So I think the smallest breweries and distilleries are going to be hit the hardest. You know, the most thriving independent ones will probably survive. But Allie, when you were in Oregon, did you ever have a spiced rum called Barbarossa? Does that sound familiar?
I want to say,
yeah.
If I know let me look at the bottle because yes, it does.
It was
I've
a big
had a lot of
plastic
rums.
bottle.
Is
bottle
it
was only
white
plastic.
with like? Wait, hold on. Here we go. I'll
It had
know
a
this.
pirate on it.
I'll know this right up.
But it was not Captain Morgan. It was not Captain
No,
Morgan.
I know the Morgans.
It was a different pirate.
That was my
yes. I was gonna say with the black writing. Yeah, I know Barbarossa.
Yeah, that was my alcohol. That was my alcohol of choice, and my beer of choice was Rolling Rock. So I'm when it comes to the craft, I'm not the biggest patron of those establishments, but I can still appreciate them.
Right. All right. Maybe I'm just overreacting.
I want to give you some hope, Allie, because the way that I read that little blurb was that the craft distilleries are hurting, but I think breweries might still be good. I think breweries might still be in the chill zone. What I was reading that was maybe more so just the craft distilleries with the hard liquor and the spirits were hurting. So maybe that's
Right.
like a silver lining potentially. Like, okay, we're losing out on some of our craft gin, but you can still get all your craft beers, you know? Okay, so I'll take that.
And
I'm not drinking a ton of craft gin.
All right, I'm with you on that. Okay, thanks for breaking that down for me, because that does make me feel better. Shouldn't they get some sort of like, or have they already, or maybe we don't know, like, you know, like federal help you out or something, because they did supply all that hand sanitizer and whatnot. I mean, I feel like there should be some kind of, you know, homie hookup or something. Not even homie hookup.
I feel like that's an underreported story, and maybe I just missed it. But like what you said is that like these craft distilleries came together and didn't produce their product, but instead used their alcohol and produced hand sanitizer for the nation. I mean, that's an amazing philanthropic act in a sense, right? So yeah, I agree with you on that, Allie. You would think there's something that, you know, we're gonna scratch your back, you scratch ours a little bit on the back end. You would hope.
Yeah. All right. Well, okay. All right. Maybe I sucked at talking about that. Maybe I was more riled up.
No, but I'm with you, because like Howard said, I literally can think of a burger stand in Costa Mesa that I grew up going to that was there at the start of 2020, and it's no longer there. It's been bulldozed. And then I think we could all think of probably a dozen spots like that. And that does legitimately bum me out. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a solution. That just kind of bums me out. Maybe after the forest fire, you know, the wildflowers grow. Like, I'm hoping that some good things pop up and there's new opportunities for new people. But the more the things become Starbucks and Chase Banks, as someone who does like the local burger stand quite a lot, it bums me out.
Yeah. I wonder. It scares me.
Nothing. I'm bummed. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm down on that.
Now I feel like I'm making us all sad. So do we want to go to tiki rooms? Do we want to talk? Because I feel like you had something to say about it.
Because I saw that and it did. I got a little on the defensive because I'm a big tiki guy. I like tiki bars. I like tiki drinks. They're kind of like my favorite thing to drink. Like if I had to pick a drink, I love tiki drinks. I love tiki bars. I like old vintage stuff. And I like the history of tiki, which is escapism, right? It's like, well, we can't afford the trip to Hawaii, but we can go to this bar and drink Mai Tais. And I just do think that when you go, not to get like political with it, but when you go down the slippery slope of like the common, like food and cultural appropriation, there's a line that gets blurred. And so I don't ever want to feel bad for wanting to get drunk off Mai Tais. You know what I mean? Like, yes, I think like you said, the iconography, like some of the imagery of tiki culture is certainly playing on stereotypes and offensive, and that's cool. Like, move away from that. But I still love a good old school tiki bar. I don't know if you guys like have dove into tiki culture at all, but I love like a good tiki bar. Howard, I feel like you haven't hit up the tiki scene too often.
I didn't know there was a tiki scene. Like, you're kind of blowing my mind.
There's a scene. Yeah.
Go, Howard, go.
No, I'm just laughing at the comment on the screen from Connor. Said I never heard someone say I'm a big tiki guy before. I second that. I mean,
yeah.
In terms, I don't have a lot to say on the tiki conversation. In terms of the cultural appropriation of it all, Alex, you know where I'm going to fall on this. I don't know a lot about it. I don't think. All I'm going to say is I'm going to defer to the people who have an opinion. If somebody's offended by it, you know, I'm going to always want to be sensitive to that, whatever that means. Don't have a ton to say about it. That's about it. Yeah. Don't have a lot of thoughts on it other than like, is this a big conversation? So we're saying tiki bars are going to go away because cultural appropriation.
I don't even think it's a big conversation.
Yeah.
I just tiki. How deep of a dive do we want to do? You know,
well, like, if the Cleveland Indians are going away and the Washington Redskins are going away, it wouldn't surprise me if tiki bars are next to come. And for me, I'm not even a big ambiance guy. I'm drinking Rolling Rocks. That's almost tap water. You know what I'm saying? So
there's a good tiki bar in Long Beach, Howard. We'll hit it up one of these days.
Yeah, I think I'm familiar with it, or I've seen a couple. I've never been though.
The Bamboo Club on Anaheim, kind of past Cambodia town. It's newer. See. So what's interesting? This is the last thing we have to say about tiki, because like this is something I'm passionate about, but also like if someone's like, "Hey, this is offensive," and I'm Polynesian, I'm not like, "No, shut up!" Like this is tiki culture. It's like I'm like, "Oh no, actually, you know what? They've got a good point. Like we don't need the waitresses to wear grass skirts here and do the luau. Like that's cool." But it was that this bullet point in this list caught my eye because there had been pre-COVID somewhat of a tiki resurgence in the US. Like there had been I know personally of several new tiki bars on the West Coast that opened in the past couple of years. So I just found it interesting that this said, hey, maybe tiki's on the way out. But I think reading into it further again, it's just saying that maybe some of the more offensive elements of tiki culture might be on the way out. What I really care about is like, can I get a good Mai Tai, a fog cutter, a painkiller, a zombie? These are some really good tiki drinks I would love to make for you guys sometime. And as long as those aren't on the way out, you know what? If we can turn it into an educational process, I saw there was one tiki bar they said opening in Chicago that was sort of putting some emphasis on like Black and Caribbean diaspora. However, they're combining that with their drinks. I'm interested. Like, sign me up. That sounds amazing.
I think it's kind of.
That's my tiki rant.
This would be a good spot for tiki to make. I like Brady says, don't call it a comeback. We've been here for years. I added the last part, but nonetheless, in this time of COVID where we can't travel, and virtual reality is getting more, popular because people can't go anywhere. Discovery Channel is getting bigger, stuff like that. Like this would be a great time for the tiki scene. Really, tiki scene freaks me out.
I never saw that.
Ever since the Brady Bunch, yes. Oh, weren't they in Hawaii on that one? Yeah.
Okay, last thing I'll say about tiki, though, this is something that I think is really dope about it, is back in like the 50s and 60s when it was a thing, it was people that were in the scene. People did custom tiki bars at their house, like speakeasy style. Like that was a thing. And I know in Portland, actually, each year, of course it's in Portland, they have TikiCon, like a big tiki convention. And part of that is a tour. People in Portland that either currently have or have inherited like the custom tiki bar speakeasy in their homes, open them up for a tour that you have to like sign up for. And I never went to that, but I've always just thought just sort of that speakeasy home bar customization thing intrigues me. I would like to go and have a drink at someone's custom tiki bar. That sounds cool.
feel like this is your version of Princess Leia in the gold bikini. Like that's where I feel like we're at right now. You've gone like
I'm done on tiki.
Princess Melikalikimaka and the coconut bikini.
I'm out.
All right. I don't believe you, but all right. So just rolling through real quick, one other thing that's going out is Jello shots, but it's not because we can't drink Jello shots. It's because a bunch of people have made like a super fancier version of them, which annoys me because they're Jello shots. So that kind of bugs me. Like,
what's the new fancier version? Give us a little rundown.
It's saying that, the last time people were this excited about Jello shots was during their college years. This is a far more sophisticated and artful Jello shot from Momofuku Milk Bar. Their company Solid Wiggles, the duo suspends milk jelly flowers in shot form and larger jelly cakes. And the aesthetic is vintage, trippy, and vibrant. Maybe we could find that at a tiki bar. So wobbly copycats are sure to follow. I don't know how I feel about dolling up the Jello shot. I mean, this is something we're going to jam our tongue into, twist it around, and hope we get it down in one swig. Like we're going to make freaking 100 of these at a time. Do we need to doll up the Jello shot? Is that something we need? What do you think, chat? Thank you. Jello shots for college freshmen.
I have an opinion on this.
Go ahead.
Because I do feel like every year or just recently, a lot of things like a Jello shot or like the donut, there becomes
or seltzer beer.
Yeah, a fancy version of something emerges, or just seltzer water, like bubbly water in general, becomes trendy, and then it runs the gamut of like low end to like the donut, like the high-end donut shops that we've seen.
The Cronut.
the hot.
Oh
like,
no,
blue,
I know what you're saying. I
and
know,
then there's like
oat
Voodoo
based
donuts,
stuff.
and there's like Blue
Yeah.
Star donuts, and there's all these like here's a $5 jelly donut with this blah blah blah. So I'm kind of a hater on that. But then whenever I do have like the high end donut, it ends up being amazing. So I assume like, what's this suspended milk jelly? Like, what the hell are we talking about?
But
I assume it's delicious. Like, I just assume like, yes, it's got to be amazing. And so I just find myself being a hater on new trends like this all the time. And then I have them and I'm like, oh, actually that was pretty bomb, you know?
Well, Cronuts is one of those. Cronuts are freaking amazing. I don't know it sounds like you've had one before, Allie.
No, I've not.
Oh my goodness. Alex, have you had a cronut?
The croissant donut, right?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Bomb.
Next level.
Yes.
It just melts in your mouth. Highly recommended.
Yes. And it's at first I remember seeing the cronut.
I mean, I know what I'm making this face like I wouldn't eat that. Like I would mouth that. I just haven't had access to a cronut, nor have I searched one out.
Some flaky deep fried bread with glaze and powdered sugar. Oh my gosh. Absolutely amazing.
It's not a beignet.
It's not a beignet, but it's tasty.
All right. I'd try. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would try. I just haven't had access to one, and I knew they were trendy and like stuff like that. I just kind of like shy away from until it's not cool anymore. Like Lord of the Rings. You know, it took me years to watch that movie till everyone stopped talking about it. And I was like, I haven't seen
Lord of the Rings.
It's a lot of time to commit to that, and still not thrilled. To tell you the truth. Save your time. Okay, so I'm looking on for our next one. Pop-up glory days, we're gonna pass.
Okay.
Didn't care about that one. And then this one's flair. So twirling bottles. That's because everyone's on TikTok, everyone's stuck at home, and everyone's learning how to do bar flair and pour stuff off their elbows and their foreheads and stuff like that. Do we need flair at the bar? I enjoy a good flair if you're good at it, but then I don't feel like I should tip you more because you flared me. And I always feel like if I get a flair show, I got to tip more. And
Sounds
I'm
like
not
a Vegas thing.
Yeah, flair's totally a Vegas thing. Okay, so I'm alone here. Okay.
Howard, you getting flared?
I'm sorry. I was reading the chats and the comments in the chat had me laughing. Talking about, I was like, dang, they got Alex as a tiki obsessed Lord of the Rings fan.
Oh, they're mean. They're mean. They're so mean.
Legitimately though,
you don't even know.
You can clown on me for the tiki stuff. Like I do kind of go in on tiki. And you might not know it, but then someone brings it up and I get passionate. So,
but not a big Lord of the Rings guy, to some people's surprise, I guess.
I've never seen Lord of the Rings. I've never seen a Harry Potter or read a Harry Potter.
I haven't done that either. No.
I haven't seen any of the new Star Wars. I don't really mess around with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like I lump all that kind of pop culture stuff in one category. And I don't really.
You just been watching like the Straight Outta Compton biopic over and over, or like?
Yeah, man. I'm trying to. I don't consume any of that. I don't consume any of that stuff.
Yeah, I'm with you on all of that except for Star Wars. But I don't do new Star Wars. The only new Star Wars I've seen was like that very first one when the chick first came out, and like, the first one that they did. That was it. But no, I'm like I do really like Star Wars, but not this whole new thing.
Wait, Howard, have you seen Harry Potter or read Harry Potter?
You know what? I've dove a little bit into Harry Potter in my day. I have.
Okay, what about Lord of the Rings?
Nope, have never turned it on.
And what about Star Wars stuff?
Never made it to Star Wars.
Okay.
Unfortunately, you know what? I'm more into just like, I'm a big pro wrestling fan, so don't hold that against me.
No, see, that's what I was about to get to. I was going to say
see that coming.
I was about to say I'm more into like realism. Like I it's hard for me to. It's hard for me to watch stuff about like vampires and zombies and all that. I'm like, fantasy world. I'm like, dude, I can't get into this.
For sure. Yes, that's how I feel. That's how I feel. And I don't have. But then, okay. You got your escape. It's pro wrestling. I've got my escape. It's tiki. Okay, so there you go. There you go.
I knew they were gonna kill me for the wrestling. I keep saying Flair. I'm like, oh, like Ric Flair, like he's one of the goats, right? We're talking goats, Tom Brady. Anyways, yeah, I'm a wrestling fan, guys.
Flair, 5 pieces of Flair. You need your 5 pieces of Flair.
But to answer your question, Allie, I think I do like the Flair. I like a show. I'll just leave it at that.
Like
I don't know.
Little show. All right, fair
I don't
enough.
know what I can't. I legitimately
maybe
can't. I can't think of an example. Like what the?
Maybe
I've never
that's
had.
the difference. Is like I'm overexposed to the Flair because I'm here in Vegas, and I'm like, so you're doing this again, and now I got to tip you more because I like it. I respect anyone that can balance. You want to pour something off your elbow into a shot glass? Well, you're dope, man. I mean, we all know I like my booze. So
that sounds like such a Vegas thing because Howard, maybe I'm wrong here, but in SoCal, I'm not getting a lot of Flair with my service.
You're going to the wrong places. No, I'm just kidding.
That's definitely a Vegas thing.
We're the entertainment capital of the world. It doesn't just stop in your show seats, okay? Like it moves to your bar stools. It moves to your walk down the strip. This is how Vegas rolls, all right? This is how we do.
Man, I'm getting annihilated in the chat over.
Well, it's just because for some reason,
come on.
As we've been getting, this is what happened. We've been getting to kind of know Howard throughout the broadcast, podcast, and then he decides to bring up realism and pro wrestling we brought those up in the same sentence. I'm into realism. I also love pro wrestling.
Man, sometimes go ahead, Allie.
No, I mean, I said that I haven't had a Cronut, but I would love to eat one. And all of a sudden I ate gas station sushi. So, I mean, this is how they roll. They love to hate us.
Well, and then
we love to get their approval or at least try.
And then John brings up that The Miz won the WWE title, just embarrassing all of us wrestling fans. Mike The Miz is
Mike The Miz.
Making everybody look bad, and I'm making it worse by bringing attention to it. But yeah, I'm a big wrestling guy.
We should get Howard and
that's McKinnell. It right there.
We should get Howard and McKinnell on a podcast together because, as Ari pointed out here in the chat, McKinnell is like, I feel like they could do hours on the stuff. They could do a deep dive.
Again, with your word choice tonight. Okay.
Oh, you are crazy.
I haven't gotten laid in a while. Sorry. Maybe my mind's just in the gutter is where I'm at. Okay, so on that note, I'm going to go powder.
Oh, your mind is in the gutter. Oh, my God.
Totally.
Your mind is in the gutter.
It might be. Yeah, I would be careful with McKinnell if I was you. I'd at least maybe watch some of his work before you get into that conversation. Because if you think they're eating you alive, McKinnell will chomp right down.
But he's a wrestler.
Yes. But he's a yeller. He'll yell. He yells. I love
He will
McKinnell.
yell.
Don't get me wrong, but he'll yell.
The key is just to have the same political beliefs as him. That's the key. And I do mostly. So we're good.
So should we move to food? Because I have one food thing, but I need what's that guy's name? Cofield? Him, yeah. I'm sorry, Steve. I need Cofield to bring up the picture of it. So this is like a new thing that's trending on TikTok, the TikTok tortilla or the TikTok wrap hack. Been floating around the internets. Everyone says it's the most genius way to fold a tortilla wrap ever. Ooh, you have a movie. Okay, let's watch.
Okay.
Okay. Boom, boom, boom. So basically, yeah, you make one little cut. You put your ingredients on 4 different sides. You roll it right up like that. And the trick is to put the cold stuff in the middle and the hot stuff on the outside. So then when it cooks, your cold stuff stays colder and your hotter stuff stays warm. But it's like a new version of a burrito. I think I'm pretty excited about this, to tell you the truth. At first I was like, this is dumb. And then I was like, oh, but if I knew about this in college, and yes, you can do it with a bazillion different things. Like you can do it vegan, you can do it gluten-free, you can do it, a gajillion dessert or savory. There is no audio.
You were talking. I turned it down.
I was talking because there was. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we've been doing this at home, so we have a bunch of giant tortillas now. It's pretty cool. You want to?
Oh
watch
wow,
it?
Cofield, you've implemented it in the Cofield household.
TikTok is my life, my friend. Everyone knows that. TikTok is my life, and the food hacks. I'm all over the stuff. This is so simple. When you watch it, you're like, "This is dumb. I don't know why I didn't know this."
Yeah.
It's like a really good. It's the white way to make a nice tortilla. It's very easy. Sorry, Harry.
Cofield. Cofield, how long has the rap hack been in play in your household?
I tried it like a month ago, and
wow.
Yeah.
So you're a veteran at this point.
Yes. Dude, I'm a veteran of everything on TikTok except the dances. I can't do any of the dances. But
have you done the nacho table though? Tell me you haven't done a nacho table.
We're not doing the nacho table.
Thank gosh. Thank goodness.
Do you want to watch this dude make it real quick? So basically, you cut the thing into 4 quadrants. You make one little slice, and then you fold it up, and it's pretty cool. I don't know what he's got, like potatoes or apples there. That's kind of weak.
It looks like apples and like a Gouda cheese or something, like a melted Gouda maybe. The color of it.
Cucumbers, whatever you want.
Oh, that's not a Gouda with cucumber.
All about what's going to get hot because they're actually going to touch.
You guys get any sound or?
Mm-mm.
This thing is genius, though.
I mean, like, how have we not thought about this?
Yeah,
Alex,
I spent 8 freaking years in college. What the hell?
My prediction was that Alex was going to be kind of a old guy, get off my lawn, and this isn't very impressive.
So that is usually.
Yes. You put it in the pan, a little bit of vegetable oil, like a minute or two both sides. If you can make a quesadilla, you can make one of these. But look how handhold it is. Like, I'm taking this. I'm going on the stroller, handling. I'm on the phone.
You're going on a stroller?
I think you got to heat some of the stuff up before you throw it in. I don't think you get the melted cheese. So that's my tip. I think if you just throw it in there, you char the outside too much and it doesn't melt it. But that's my input.
All right, I like it.
Well, you guys
excited about it.
You guys know I've been mostly against the TikTokification of food, the Instagramification of food. A lot of times we end up with food that looks better than it tastes. A lot of times we end up with food that is more for the photo than for eating. We've all been there, right? We've been to the Instagram popular spot and they've got a nice backdrop with a neon sign and some leaves and stuff. But how's the food? This, though, this I can't hate on. It looks pretty solid. Like, it looks really tasty. I don't know if I'm going to do it because I'm if it ain't broke, don't fix it guy. Like my chicken quesadilla with my guacamole on the side like that I make, that's delicious. But I'm not going to hate on this. No, I'm not going to hate on this. I've turned a new leaf. I'm not going to hate. It actually looks delicious and efficient.
I have a serious question for Howard. I'm assuming you've had his guacamole 1 to 10.
I haven't had his guacamole yet.
No, he hasn't.
And you call yourselves friends?
You know what? COVID has kind of defined a lot of the circumstances around our friendship. So we haven't really gotten together for like a function yet. So I haven't had the pleasure, but I'll give you a report once I do.
Yeah, that is fucked up. That is fucked up.
Fair enough. All right. What else do we got?
That's it, huh? Tiger Woods was drunk driving. That's what I learned tonight's show from Allie. Going out on a limb.
Okay, when I say what topics do you have, that's when you give me topics.